why would I go pay for a Rod Wave ticket to see him waddle around stage?
Mac Miller said the first rapper that made me want to start rapping was Big L. Right?
If you guys didn't know, segregation is back. So that's what I'm seeing here.
All right, man. We back at it. This is episode 109 of the Rhythm and Rhymes podcast. I'm your host, AJ Hughes. I'm here with my co-host, Antonio Hughes. And first, I want to ask how you doing. We'll start there, and then we'll hop up into the topics. But how are you?
No, I can't complain. Life's going. Life's short, but I'm about to buy this ticket to the Leon Thomas show in December, so I'm
Okay.
excited about that. But
Okay.
yeah.
That sounds like a good show. That sounds like a good show. I ain't been to a concert in a minute.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I missed him the first time because I think he was in Tampa and Miami when I was still in Tallahassee, but I didn't get to see him last time. I said I can't miss it this time for sure.
Okay. Definitely let me know how that goes. Yo, how was your Halloween? How was your Halloween, bro?
My Halloween was solid. I had a decent costume. I'll put my picture up here. Decent costume, had a decent time. Went to Iowa to see some of my friends. Going to Iowa was always a weird experience being a black man, but I digress. And it was pretty good. I always feel like this going in certain college clubs specifically, but just clubs in general. Like some of these DJs are just trash. Like dude was up there. I could tell for a good hour he was struggling with getting some crowd control, getting the crowd into it. And then once he really got him into it, you could see him up there going crazy. Yeah, nigga. Yeah. Like he was hype or whatever. But Halloween was solid.
That's dope. That's dope. I had a decent Halloween too. I went out. Yeah, I went on Halloween. I didn't go out Saturday. I went to Rum and Jerk. Shout out Rum and Jerk. I dressed up as Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? And I think I got my first live DJ set coming up, y'all.
Okay.
I think I got it coming up. I had a little liquid courage in me. Shout out Johnny Walker. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't drunk. It was just like 1-2 shots. Went up to Nate and I was like, you gotta let me do like a 15-minute set. I just said it just like that. He's like, for sure. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. I was like, for real? I was like, yo, for real? I didn't think he was gonna say that. I was like, yo, for real? He's like, yeah. I was like, bet. Say less. So I'm already trying to figure out, put together in my head. So this week I'm gonna hit him and see. I'm gonna text him and be like, yo, if you dead ass win. You know what I'm saying? If you dead ass win. But
Shit,
kind
if
of
you
hype.
do, definitely try to get a recording of that. That would be hard, bro.
I have to. Somebody gotta record it. You know what I'm saying? That would be really dope. Cause it was funny because last year I was saying I wanted to do something on my birthday. I'm not throwing nothing on my birthday this year, but to do it anytime soon and be like, it's still happening in a way.
Yeah, that's tough, bro.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, this was an interesting topic that you brought in. The Grammy announcing nominations this week with the change in categories to the country section, to the country album. Explain this to me a little bit.
So last year, if anybody didn't know, Beyonce, actually it wasn't last year, it was February of this year, Beyonce had won the Grammy for Best Country Album, and that was for Cowboy Carter. And now after that, I saw the backlash. I don't know if you saw the backlash, but there was people like Luke Bryan, Morgan Wallen, some of the other country artists just complaining about the fact that Beyonce wasn't traditional country. She wasn't what originally country comes from, which is funny because black people created country music, but I digress. So they split this category into best contemporary country album, which is probably going to end up being black dominated, and best traditional country album, which will end up being white dominated. So whenever I see the word contemporary when it comes to music, it's almost the same as DEI. It's almost the same
Urban.
as black, urban, like any of that. And if you guys didn't know, segregation is back. So that's what I'm seeing here. But I think it's not surprising to me. I think this is funny because when Macklemore beat Kendrick, they didn't split that into traditional and contemporary. They just left it the same. When it's really crazy to me that we're getting to a point where you're looking at a person who's from Texas, who grew up around country music, who has made country music before. If you go listen to some of her old albums, she does have some country songs in there and stuff like that. But for people to say it's not traditional country music just because she maybe added in a little bit of 808s or added in a little bit of flair, or I like to call it seasoning.
Yeah.
I think I think this is really wild, especially considering the fact that I know you probably haven't heard a lot of Morgan Wallen music, but if anybody's heard Broadway Girls, That's a song with Lil Durk. That's a song where he's using 808s. Morgan Wallen, if you listen to a lot of his songs, you could tell he gets a lot of influence from hip hop music specifically, but black music. So I just think it's crazy that you do have one of the artists who's one of the faces of the genre right now, of their genre being country, making hip hop music, making black music, like taking a lot of influence from black music, just like Elvis did. And now they got to split the category when a white artist doesn't win. But
I think you know what's so interesting to me? It's a couple things. First, they get to. I feel like when I say they, companies, organizations, groups of people get to hide behind different words like urban or contemporary and things like that because of just the demographic of the country, right?
bro,
Because the majority of people currently are white, anything outside of that is viewed as either non-traditional, out of the box, or not not of the mainstream, essentially. When a lot of stuff originates outside of the majority and then the majority like takes onto it, if that makes sense. Like even hip hop, as we've talked about on here, the majority of hip hop listeners are now white, but it didn't start that way. You know what I'm
yeah, no,
saying? So you could argue that, but I think it's interesting how they're able to just use the certain words and hide behind it in that way. And I think this also reaffirms the thing to me, like genre should be defined by production.
mhm.
I think genre should be defined by production because then you can't say because this type of artist is doing this over it, it's now this type of music. The production makes it almost it makes it very easy to tell what type of music it is. Like when I was going back and forth with people over on my piano, like as house music, like the tempo and the instrumentation is what I use to define it as. Not everybody looks at it that way, right? That's why nobody would ever look at some of Burna Boy's music as hip hop music, even though it is. Like he has, if you go into his old stuff, he's making like hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? And I think this country album from Beyonce is country. This is not contemporary or tradition. It's just country music, which I think I don't know. They do this every year. You know what I'm saying? They did they got one for hip hop too. It's like the melodic rap song or something like that. I don't what do these words mean? We don't even use these words. They just start throwing stuff around. But anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think it just shows what the companies and what they think. I guess the country is still on. We have a certain type of president on it in office. He said a lot of bad stuff, but like for these companies to still be, yeah, like you said, hiding behind contemporary and urban, still on this lane of it's easier to promote a white face instead of promoting somebody like a Beyonce or promoting somebody like a Shabuzi, a dude with dreads sitting there making country music now. It just bothers me, but not a crazy thing to happen. Honestly, it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm more fooled when they do things that are in line with us than that are not. So I see this and I'm like, interesting. But yeah.
Right.
The next thing I think was actually really interesting, and I think you probably have there could be different perspectives on this, but Smino tweeted, "Rap went back underground. If you can't tell." I have my thoughts on this. What do you think about this?
When I saw this, I was like, I completely agree with this. Honestly, if you can, we all saw that. I'm not we all, but a lot of people saw that stat that no songs that were rap songs were in the top 40. I think it was the past month or was that specific week of October. And I also think it'll honestly be good for rap, if you ask me. I think there's been a lot of just fluff and a lot of like unquality music. And I think if rap does end up going back underground, which if you're really looking around, there hasn't been many major label artists or big artists getting big budgets or sitting there getting all these big numbers. Besides, there has been Cardi B that came out. Drake said he was going to drop. GNX did pretty well last year, but I think this is going to force the cream to rise to the top. I think the quality is going to really have to start to show. I think that these artists will definitely, they won't be getting as big of budgets as they were before. Everybody was throwing everything at new rap artists, everything at the new hot rap chick or at the new lil artists, and that's not gonna happen now. So it's if you really got love for the music, you really got love for the game, and you really have that quality and you have that creativity and you are really that good, then I still think the cream will rise to the top. Like Smino specifically is a person where he sat there and built out his cult fan base, he built out his sound, and if he had no label or had no, I guess you could say, pushing that way, if everybody was back underground, I think he would be one of those people that would still be doing well.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I guess I do agree. I think it is back underground, and I guess underground would just be defined as not getting huge budgets and not being super visible in that way. But
Yeah.
I think the current state of things speaks more to the state of the internet rather than just the state of hip hop. I think what's happening to hip hop is not only happening to hip hop, I think it's happening to everything, right? Like the fact that only if somebody posts something, only 5% of people see it. Like the amount, just the sheer volume of dollars in ad space you would have to pay for a large percentage of people to see what you want them to see would just be almost, it would be, bro. I checked the Billboard Top 100 earlier today. Taylor Swift is like 10 of the top 20 spots, bro.
Hmm.
Nobody else is that big, bro. Nobody else is that. Nobody else could do that. And so I do agree. I think it's just it's becoming more niche. Everything is becoming more niche, right? Like I think music, TV, movies, it's in the know unless you're Taylor Swift or you're Apple or you're Google or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you could say underground, but it I guess it's just more siloed would be the word I would
Yeah.
use, something like that. But I guess how do you we talk about this every couple months, I feel like, but do you is there a time when we see you know how you go to Vegas and see like an Elvis impersonator and that's rock and roll?
Yeah.
Is it is that time coming for hip hop or is it still it's still got the feeling in it? So it's not really it can't do that. Based on where we're at now. I like checking the temperature. Has your thoughts changed on that?
I honestly, bro, I do think it's getting to the point because I feel like you started to see that in rock music specifically. That's just what I'm pointing to because I feel like that's where we saw one of those big shifts as far as it being one of the bigger genres. But I feel like it's gonna get to the point we're already seeing the, I guess not novelty artists, but just artists who were the artists in the 1980s and the 1990s, the novelty acts. Okay, that's what I was looking for. But novelty acts, I feel like those are more interesting to people now than going out and seeing a new show. One thing, one joke people have made to me is like, why would I go pay for a Rod Wave ticket to see him waddle around stage or like something like that?
Waddle
Like
is
it, or
crazy.
I know, but why would I sit there and pay for a ticket to a Rio show and he just gonna sit up there leaned out the whole time? Like
Yeah.
there, I definitely think it's definitely it's getting to that point. Like it's definitely getting to that point. I think we're getting to a point where things are gonna go back to, oh, have you heard of this artist, instead of every rap artist becoming big. Or I think, and
Yeah.
honestly, I enjoy it going niche. Like I think people need to get back into getting their own hobbies and thinking for themselves. And regionalism is another thing that I think is really coming back. Honestly,
I don't know if regionalism is coming back, but I think it's a because it's siloed, and this is why I think like we need like we are doubling down and like creating a space for ourselves. Like it's curation. Like it's gonna be curation. Right?
hmm
It's not gonna be like what's top 100 or what's at the top of the release radar or whatever. It's gonna be like people who have good taste putting stuff out or not even putting stuff out. People who have good taste saying, "Yo, if you like this, listen to this," or "I like this, I think y'all should try this." And to your point about rap concerts, like I think in terms of performance, like not there aren't a lot of artists who are like I feel like if you're not a super good singer, you're not amazing with your words or you don't have an amazing show. There aren't a lot of rappers that I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Right now on the top of my list of artists I want to see is Odile. I want to see Odile
yeah.
live. I want to see Leon. Bro, that Leon we didn't talk about I didn't you talked about the Leon Thomas project. I didn't listen to it enough. I was listening to it the other day, bro. Bro, that was insane.
Hey, real yearning, real vibes on there. Let me tell you.
Bro, insane. What song did I keep running back, bro? Baccarat, I think it's such a different vibe than any music
Yeah.
that I've heard recently, but Trapped, bro, the drums and the guitar on Trap, there's I wanna say like 35 seconds in, there's this I wish I could, bro. That shit, I played that shit back 4 or 5 times. I'm like, yo, this is music. This is music. That's what I kept saying. But I think it's just gonna be getting back to that, which doesn't favor the rapper over the 808 beat, which is the majority of the field. That's not the
Mhm.
entire field, but the majority of the field. There's still, and I think there's still a space for it. Like you said, like there's still a space for it, but it's just changing.
Yeah. Yeah, just like how people sit there and some people do consume the AI content slop, some people are still gonna sit there and consume some of that. But I feel like I started to feel like that when I heard that Uzi album and it wasn't that good.
Bro, that was
Not the most recent one.
trash.
Dude, yeah, the one with him of the what was the one with him with the pink flag behind him? That's when I felt like it was
I don't
overrated.
even remember,
Like,
bro. I know which one you talking about though. I know which one you
yeah.
talking about. Yeah, make rap good again. I will say that. New music I wanted to get into, bro. There was really 2 albums that I really cared about, one project that I thought was worth mentioning, one song that I was whelmed with. First, A Fine African Man by Nux, sophomore album. Did you listen to this? Yes or no?
I did listen to this. I would say I always get about halfway through albums and then I come back to them. But I thought this album was good. I think even if you're not really, I guess, a big UK rap fan, this had a lot of good vibes on it. Intro was quality. I went and watched the video for that too. The video was pretty good. You sent me Pure Water. That was fire. I also like Container with KC.
Mhm.
But I thought this was good. I'm still standing on my. I don't think there's really anybody besides Dave who can mess with Nux when it comes to actual lyricism out of the UK. Maybe I'm wrong. If any
Yeah.
UK people, please don't shoot me. But that's just what I think. But yeah, good album to me.
I would I would potentially argue I think Nux is probably okay, not probably. I think Nux is the best storyteller in the UK.
That too.
I don't think he's and this is where you get into the intricacies of it, right? If we put our backpack on for a second, right? Dave can tell a story, and then some of the bars that he give you is, bro, what did you just say? Some of the things he gives you is, yo, that was cold. I feel like Nux after Alpha, what was it? Alpha Place,
Okay.
and then this one, like he's painting these very vivid pictures to me. Alpha Place told the story of how he grew up in his estate in the UK. This to me was almost just as good. And the reason I love it so much is because Alpha Place is a UK rap album, right? It's
Mhm.
a UK rap album, heavily drill inspired. You know what I'm saying? A Fine African Man has a it has an Afro beats feel, but it's still a rap project. You know what I'm saying? It has a real Afro swing-ish feel. And a lot of these tracks, bro, they tell the stories are just as good as the first one. I'm not ready to say it's better or as good as the first one, but there's a song on here called Yam Porridge, right? And it talks about this woman that Nux met when he was younger at his school that used to have this yam porridge that he really loved. And at first, you don't know that it was this woman that he knew. It was just a woman at a school that made yam porridge. Goes on, describes her in vivid detail. And at the end, it's 20 years in the future. Her husband has passed and she needed some money or she had some money troubles or something to that effect, and it comes back around and be like, oh, there was a kid in her class however long ago that remembered how well she treated him, and it was him. It was Nux or whatever. And I was like, yo, that's like the way he told the story. Like, you know, the what's the outro on Damn, the one with where he's talking about how Top Kendrick was talking about how Top and his dad had met before.
That's Duckworth. That's one of my favorites of all time.
It
I'm not.
like the way he wrapped it up. I'm not saying I'm not trying to compare the song. I'm just trying to give you a vein of what type of, you know what I'm saying? But it felt
Yeah.
like that where it was like, damn, that was a dope. Like it was a story. It was like a dope story. You know what I'm saying? my name is my name, same way, like, he talks about how he felt with such a like, an African name in the UK and how people mispronounced it and stuff like that. And I thought, I don't know, just this whole project, bro, even Friends, bro. Friends is a st if you have been in a situation with a woman that like a situationship where y'all aren't really calling each other like, y'all aren't really dating, but there's obviously feelings there and something to that effect. Like, the way he describes it, I don't know, like, bro, he's just so good at painting these vivid pictures, and to me, to be able to take this step on your sophomore project because there's always this thing of sophomore slump, right? Where you're like, "Oh, the second
Mhm.
project might not be as good as the first." But if you have a complete story you're trying to tell that's completely different from the first, it's hard to, like it's not really it's linear in a way. So it don't even matter if one is better than the other. It's like you're telling this was where I was at right here, and this is where I was at right here. So they complement each other. So you can't even get into the sophomore slump conversation.
Yeah, that's and you know what that is? That reminds me of that Corday project. Like when the first one
Yeah,
came out, I was sitting there, oh, this is good, this is quality, especially him being on his own for the first one. And then I think it was 2 years later after that, he brings you in almost a new world, but it's still him telling the stories of what he's going through at that time. So
right.
I agree with you. Like this album was very quality. It's one that I feel like I'm gonna be listening to for sure. Cause Nux is probably my honestly, I'll say it. Nux is my favorite UK rapper. That's just me. But yeah.
I'm not ready to say that. Dave is still I would love to hear them 2 on a track together. I feel like that would be immaculate. But and I still feel like I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Stormzy gave him a here damn verse on that first project.
Yeah.
It was a dope song, but he gave him a here damn verse. That was one of the more whelming songs I've ever heard from Nux. It wasn't a bad song, but I was just like, bro, to get Stormzy at this time on the first album, it's but I was like, yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, next project, one that I was actually super surprised about, Harlem's Finest, Return of the King, Big L. It was 16 songs, 39 minutes long. This was essentially a compilation of older verses that they had found of Big L's and then freestyles that had came out before, right? So like I had heard 7 Minute Freestyle before with Jay-Z. Had you heard that song?
I hadn't heard that song, no.
Yeah, so that song was on Spotify for a long time, but then they took it down. I think this is probably why they took it down because they put it on the album and stuff like that, released in a new way. But I heard that song before. I have my thoughts on it. What did you listen to this project?
No, I didn't even get to hear it. I
Okay.
low-key didn't hear that it came out until, like, Saturday.
Okay. So what I would say in terms of a posthumous album, the reason I was okay listening to it was one, Nas. This is a mass appeal project, so Nas
Yeah.
had his hands on the project, and I will say to the way they put this together, it didn't feel like the Juice World project started to feel like, where it was just like they
Yeah.
just throwing verses out. It felt like they were really trying to honor like the production he rapped over at the time, and then bring in artists that sort of made sense, right? Like the song that surprised me the most on this project was the one with Mac Miller. Which one was that? Forever. The beat don't feel like I'm not gonna lie, if you're talking like cohesiveness of the project, it don't really fit. But the dope part about this is they'll bring in clips of interviews of people talking about Big L or stuff like that. And in that song, he said, Mac Miller said, the first rapper that made me want to start rapping was Big L. Right? Which I thought was so interesting. I would have never thought that. You know what I'm saying? And for the prod for it to make sense for the two of them to be on a track, I felt like they did them justice. You know what I'm saying? I really like that song. My favorite song, like I won't count the 7 minute freestyle because that's a legendary rap song. That's Do Your History. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big L was hot and he said, yo, like in the song, the DJ was like, yo, you want to bring your man on to rap? Yeah, my man Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z wasn't him. He hadn't even put out this was before Reasonable Doubt,
Yeah.
right? So like that song is Do Your History. So I'm not gonna say that's my favorite song, but my favorite song on here was Fred Samuel Playground with Method Man. That song is hard. That song is hard. And Big L come on rapping, and then halfway through, Method Man's yeah, we used to buy our wet from Big L. And this was on Drink Champs, and it was like, what? And he was like, "Yeah, I used to buy our cocaine from Big L." And then he get into let the man get into spitting the craziest work. Bro, this is a really good album. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad they did it. Like I had listened to Big L prior to this. Like A Big Picture is a really good project by Big L. I listened to that before. There's a song on there with Tupac and there's a song on there with Fat Joe I really love. But this was a really good album, I will say. So if you like rap, you're looking for some grimy underground rap, this is it. And then obviously the single that came out, You Ain't Got a Chance is hard with Nas. That song's hard.
I'm gonna have to check this album out. I wouldn't even. I guess I haven't. I'm not up on my Big L, so I gotta go check that out.
Hey, that's one of those rappers where like he was shot and killed soup in the 90s, bro. And he wasn't the it was like he was on the way up where it was like, oh, he's him, but he's not like he's you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people our age probably wouldn't know. But
Yeah,
I think this is a good way to reintroduce him, especially you got Mac Miller on here, you got Nas on here, you got Jay-Z on here, you got Joey Badass on here. So those names might get people to at least be interested to listen.
yeah. Shit, I'm interested now just based off of that. I definitely want to go check this out.
Yeah. And then very briefly, I don't know if you listened to the reinvention by Ransom and DJ Premier. Did you?
Yeah, I got to hear this. I like this album a lot. I
Yeah.
definitely want to keep listening to this. Ransom been in the game so long, still out here killing. And I think one of my favorite types of projects is producer rapper link up. Like I think that's just it always goes well, and I
Yeah.
always
I will say, and this I'm not trying to hate. I guess I'm not the biggest DJ Premier solo DJ Premier fan. Where it's like when he's not Gangstar, I
yeah,
love you listen to Gangstar before, right?
yeah,
I
yeah. I've
love
heard Gang.
Gangstar. Gangstar is hard, but like the boom bap, like this is 1984 production. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't super I didn't love this, but the raps were there for me. The raps were there for me. Ransom did his thing. There was one bar that I wanted to mention. It was the crazy like it made I was on a walk. It was midnight last night. I was on a walk. And that's when I sent or whatever time it was. It might not have been midnight.
Yeah,
But whenever I text you that song, bro, he said, "I know you think I rap, but I still squeeze a milli. Send 10 keys to Philly. The label sent A&Rs, but the corner put A&Rs in the hands of thieves to kill me." Like the rest of the
damn.
I know, bro. When he said that, I'm like, yo. He said, "I ain't rapping. I'm about this street." Like I said, "Dang, that flip was crazy." But that whole verse, that's my favorite song on the project. That first verse is hard, but that whole song is hard.
Yeah, this is definitely one I'm gonna keep checking this out. Like I always try to check in with Ransom. No, Ransom drop that shit, bro.
Yeah, I think his that little movie series he did is still my favorite Ransom. We're gonna come in here and do a breakdown of that at some point. But the last thing, the song I was whelmed with. I thought this was going to be the ultimate collab, Odile and Wale. And I will say, Wale rapped, he did what he did. You know what I'm saying? He put pen to pad, City on Fire. But I did not, I hated the hook, bro. You could have just took Odile off it for me. And I love everything Odile done put out. But you could have just took Odile off it for me.
You ain't fuck with Odil's part on there?
Bro, it sounded like he whining. It sounded like he whining on there, and that's what just pissed me off. Cause I'm like, bro, you could really sing for real. I don't know who did the vocals on that. Maybe I tried listening to it again. I tried listening to it in the car. And I was just like, bro, I'm not going back to this.
I'm gonna have to go back to it because I thought it was fire. Like I thought,
I
I thought,
my
I
thing
thought it
is
was
when
crazy.
Wale put pen to pad, it's always decent. But then we come on, "City on fire, I'm like, bro. I turned it off, bro. Whatever. Any other song music you want to talk to before we give people the Rex? Anything else?
I could just tell y'all some stuff that I saw came out that I'm not really I didn't check out that much. Kodak album just getting started.
I want to listen to that. It was too
Cornucopia,
long.
way
Yeah.
too long, especially for Kodak. I don't need 20 songs from Kodak. But that came out, and then the other one I saw came out was Oh, Coffee by Saba. I want to listen to this because apparently he recorded this whole album in his car, which I think is, I don't know if
I
that's
did see
interesting
that. I
or a bad
did
thing.
see that. Yeah. In his
Yeah, but I
car?
gotta listen to it. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to figure it out too, and that's why I want to go listen to it. Because like when I was hearing it, it was like all over the place. The beats were super like, I guess let's call it free flowing. It felt very jazzy to me, so it just something I had to come back to. I was driving at the time, and I was like, I can't focus. Like this is too much. But
Fair enough.
that's pretty much that's pretty much the only other things I was thinking about.
Okay. New music. What you got for the people, bro?
Okay, okay. I'm gonna give y'all one old song. I'm gonna give y'all Miss Jackson by Outkast just because it was that Stankonia 25th anniversary this past
Oh
weekend. They
yeah.
dropped the 25th anniversary album. I didn't really go back and listen to the album again. I've heard Stankonia before, but that definitely turned that on just because. And then my other one I will give y'all is I'll give y'all Shooting Craps by Kodak Black and Lil Yachty. I think the song name is hilarious, but I thought this was a good song, and I'm always gonna say go check on Kodak because everybody got to check out
Go
Kodak. Go,
check on
somebody go check
Kodak,
out
bruh.
Kodak. Yeah, but those are my two. Those are my two.
Bet. Bet. All right. I'ma say, did I give that was last week? Did I give an SWV song? I feel like that I didn't give that song last week. No.
No, you did.
Okay. I got a video coming out on bringing Bridges back in R&B.
Mhm.
This song, Cosign by SWV. SWV is good for a bridge. And I'm gonna say this is probably one of my favorite bridges I've ever heard. And this wasn't even off of one of the older SWV project. This was off like one of their comeback projects in 2012. I Missed Us, right? They first albums came out in what is this? 90, was that 96? Oh no, 92.
Yeah,
It's About Time came out in 92. New Beginning came out in 96. Release Some Tension came out in 97. That's the era. Those were the first three. They didn't release another project until 2012. And so the intro, Cosign, bro, that is one of the craziest bridges I've heard in a while. So I'm gonna say go listen to that one. And then I'll say I'll give y'all one of those Big L songs off the first project so y'all know so I can restore the feeling. You know what I'm saying? This is back when we thought it was okay for Fat Joe to say the N-word. The Enemy by Big L and Fat Joe. He says it on
yeah.
there. Get past it. At this time, we thought he was black. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But the song is hard.
I'm
We
gonna
shouldn't
make
push
some
that
music.
message. But I'll just say, yeah. We'll see y'all next week, man. Maybe I should shut up, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.